Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Joe, your YouTube friend from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. And it is nearly Christmas time, and I'm just going to get dark here for a second. Of course, up here we have all this white stuff telling us that it's holiday season. And I suppose I shouldn't be a humbug this holiday season, so I figured I would do something, make something for the holidays. And my personal favorite thing in the holidays is food and or booze. So I figured I'd whip up a batch of a homemade chocolate liqueur. So I've got myself my ingredients of some chocolate. I'm going to need some milk or cream and lots of sugar, a white alcohol over here somewhere, an empty jar that clean, sterilized, and cooking vessel, which is a nice clean sterilized pot. And I'm going to get to making a chocolate liqueur. I haven't done a liqueur in a very long time, but because I've kind of had somebody force Christmas on me this year. Not that I'm like anti-Christmas, for those of you who are all yay holiday spirits, etc., etc., but a friend of mine set up a tree in my house. I have to deal with this tree. I'm not allowed to take it down. So yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I better do something festive. And my festive thing is going to be making a chocolate liqueur for Christmas as a gift to somebody. Not the person who gave me the tree, they're getting coal. And I'm not really that much of a Grinch. I actually just made some wine, and by just made, I mean I'll be bottling all of this wine here on the weekend to give as gifts, to prove that I'm not really the Grinch. Anyways, I'll get back to you in a second. I'm just going to get this guy started here, and I will post the recipe down below here for anybody who is interested in my quick, quite tasty chocolate liqueur. All right, all right. Okay, so I've started pouring my ingredients in my pot here. You'll notice two very distinct colors: a white for granular sugar, and the brown for unsweetened cocoa, which obviously will be very sweetened. I'm not making a very large batch. I'm just going to do a bottle's worth, bottle and a little bonus taster. I added a little bit more granulated sugar to my pot here. It's going to be a bit more than the 710 ml bottle that I have over here. So I'm not really making a heck of a lot, just a bottle's worth. So in this case here, what I have in the pot is just cacao, standard baking cacao, unsweetened. I have that would be 150 grams of it and 750 granulated sugar. I haven't turned the pot on yet. I'm just going to give these a little bit of a mix up, and I'm going to do it off camera because it's just easier doing this with two hands. So I'm going to mix this up, and I will get to the next step after I am satisfied with my little mixing mix here. Alright, so I've just hand mixed. Again, I still haven't turned on the pot yet. That's just the cocoa and granulated sugar. I'm going to start mixing in cream or milk. I use just actually a milk for it. I don't want an overly creamy liqueur. In this case, I will be adding two of these very slowly and mixing as I go. This is a total of 500, so I'll be doing a liter of milk into my pot here, mixing slowly, just so it doesn't clump. So I'm going to get the milk mixed up here, and then we'll move on to the next step. Well, I've mixed the three ingredients I've got so far, which is the cocoa again. That would be 300 grams of cacao, 750 grams of white granulated sugar, and 1 liter of whole milk or milk into the pot here, and I mix it thoroughly before I turn the heat on. And I've set the heat to a mid-range. My stove cooks pretty hot, so not just under medium. So I've got a 4 out of 9. Sure. You want to ask what the degrees are in that? Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. All stoves are slightly different. Mine's 4 degrees for temperature. And I will constantly stir this until my arm gets sore, and then I will switch up to the other arm. And I will warm this up so everything dissolves and mixes really well with a constant stirring. Don't stop stirring. For probably a good 20-25 minutes. I know that seems like a long time, but trust me when I say that this chocolate liqueur, very simple, is going to be so tasty, especially if you're pouring it over ice cream or like on cheesecake or something like that, or you know, you're just having a little tasty poo. So yeah, I'm going to continue to stir this here on a low heat, low to medium heat. Too low, take you forever. So yeah, get it up to a low medium low heat, and just constantly stir it. As you can see, maybe right now, it's starting to get a little bubbly on the top, and I'm essentially just going to keep, you can see that if I break up the bubbles, you get that almost like dark chocolate milk, hot chocolate look in the middle there. So I'm going to keep stirring this until I have no foam left, and it's just down to that coffee consistency. Coffee consistency, that's what I'm looking for here. It's my technical term for this dish, coffee consistency. So yep, I'm gonna do this for 25 minutes. You don't need to see that. It's unless you're one of those people who watch those satisfying videos of somebody stirring a pot for 25 minutes. Yeah, we don't need to do that. So I will be back. I'll be back in about 18 minutes. Okay, guys? Well, we're back, and it's been about 12 minutes, so we're about halfway done stirring. See, that wasn't very long, was it? Well, it wasn't long for you guys. Time flies when you're stirring a pot, I guess. So we're going to take a look about halfway mark here. You can see that the foam's starting to dissipate fairly well, and we're getting that dark coffee espresso-y look underneath the top foam of the head. I haven't stopped stirring. Now, just a quick note on like reasoning for the time and the constant stirring. Again, it's not. This is a really simple recipe on how to make a chocolate liqueur, tasty one at that. This is really the most important step: is to have it on that medium to low medium heat and constant stirring. The amount of sugar that we put in here, if you put it on too hot, would instantly start to sweat and caramelize, giving you a really chunky mixture, as well as offshooting the flavor. Not that caramel chocolate's a bad thing, but it's not what we're going for here. Also, because you're putting a liter of milk or cream into this small batch, too high of a temperature will instantly start to curdle it, which you just end up having to throw out the whole batch. So that constant stirring, introducing air into the mixture and keeping anything from sticking to the sides and bottom of the pan. As you can see, I'm using a non-stick pot and a non-stick whisk. That's the name I was looking for. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to keep stirring this here for another 8 minutes or so. until the rest of this head here is completely dissipated, or nearly as completely dissipated. Then we get to the easiest step in this whole process, and so the next time I get back to you, we will be prepping for the super easy step. Okay? Well, it has been 25 minutes of me stirring this pot. I know that was exciting for me. I don't know about you guys. And as you can see, taking a look in the pot, the foam, or the head of our chocolate mixture here is almost completely gone, which tells me that we are just about ready for the next step. Now, I haven't stopped stirring, just kind of constantly giving a brisk whisk, and yeah, it's coming along great. This, essentially, we're making right now a super sweet hot chocolate. We're not throwing any marshmallows in it though, because that's just not going to go over well inside our glass container. So, 25 minutes, our mixture is quite thoroughly mixed. I'm going to turn off the heat, and now the easy part. We're going to take our pot off the element, put it on a cool element, and I'm going to stir it a little bit more, just for a moment. Now, there are many different recipes out there for making a chocolate liqueur. You might be, well, wow, I'm not going to use cocoa. I'm going to use, you know, just straight unsweetened chocolate melted down. Sure, yeah, go ahead. You will get a creamy chocolate liqueur. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all preference and taste, really. I just got home and decided to make this, and as opposed to going to the store, I had a bunch of baking ingredients and was like, yeah, okay, I can make a chocolate liqueur with what I have here. If you are melting chocolate to do this, keep in mind that you're not just throwing chocolate into a pot and turning on the heat. That's not going to come out well. You'll want to boil some water and put it in like a glass bowl on top of the pot and slowly melt your mixture in that bowl, not the pot itself. Okay? When melting chocolate, melt chocolate slow over a low to medium heat, which is what we're doing. It's not going to be any faster. And to tell you like the honest truth, between like a cacao or cocoa and just like unsweetened chocolate, where you're adding sugar to it anyways, if you can tell the difference between the two at the final product, that's pretty amazing. I mean, depending on what kind of cream you use in either one, or what kind of chocolate you use in either one, you're going to get varying results, but they're all going to be chocolatey, alcoholic, and tasty. So that's the way it is, really. Okay, so we got what looks like a giant thing of espresso that we've taken off the heat, and what I'm going to do now, the easiest part, I'm going to cover it. No, I'm not going to cover it with that because that one's too short, small. I'm going to find the lid that goes with that, and I'm going to cover it. There we are, down here in my pot trays, my pot cabinet. Okay, should have had that up beforehand. Okay, so I'm going to cover it and let it cool a little bit on the counter, and then I'm going to make some room in my fridge here, and I'm going to throw the pot into the fridge and leave it there till the AM, about 12 hours, and let it cool off. But I'm going to let it cool off to room temperature on the stove there for a moment. I'll give it another stir or two in a second, and then return to it after I put it in the freezer, not the freezer, the fridge. in the morning, around 9 o'clock in the morning, I guess, and get on to the next step, which will be the next clip in the video. Alright guys, I'll put that in there, and then I got some work to do, and then I will see you guys in the morning. Well, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning the following day after putting our chocolate mixture into the refrigerator to settle overnight. Just give that a little stir. It's a little thick. That's would be settling. It is very creamy due to the copious amounts of milk that we use. So I'm going to give this a bit of a stir. It is, wow, that is beautiful, consistent, just a silky smooth chocolate. Okay, so I'm going to add just a drop or two of vanilla extract. You may want to use a vanilla bean, split the bean, and then I'm just using a drop or two. I'm not super precise. That's a lot. That's plenty. Not a lot, it was plenty enough. Vanilla extract, you don't have to add a lot to any particular thing you're making with vanilla extract to get a little zip out of it. You may want to use a bean. I don't have any vanilla bean on me, so I'm not going to. Also, I don't feel like straining this later. I feel like bottling it now and just letting it do its thing. Because I have a billion other projects I have on the go. This was just I really feel like making some chocolate liqueur. Okay, so just giving this a stir. Get that vanilla worked in there. You'll notice that my stove is not on. So I just pulled this out of the refrigerator, the fridge. Added just, approximately a teaspoon of vanilla extract to this whole chocolate endeavor. You see how nice and thick. It's beautiful. Okay, so now I have over here a couple empty bottles. I said I'd make a bottle for 750 ml bottle for a gift for Christmas, and I'd have a little extra for myself. And by a little extra, I mean I'm gonna have another bottle for myself, approximately. So for this here, if you got like a 151 proof vodka, that would be great. You're going to use a white grain alcohol, no flavor. That would be great for this liqueur, and for this amount that we've been making, with the 151, probably like 250 mils, about a cup. So I don't have on hand 151 proof. I've got 40% alcohol here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 400 mils of this vodka here, and we'll see how that goes. Well, maybe I'll start with like 300. I'm going to put 300 in, give it a little taste, and maybe add another 100 milliliters. Mils, when I say mils, I say meaning milliliters. So I'm going to measure out 300 in here, put it into my chocolate, mix it up, and I'll be right back with a taste test. Okay, now that I've done stirring and mixing, I've mixed this my 300 milliliters of vodka into our chocolate mash, and I've mixed it up for about 5 minutes here just to thoroughly mix it in. I mean, you're not going to get any more mix than that. So again, the stove's not on, and I pour myself a little taster of our chocolate liqueur here just to see if I wanted to add that extra 100 milliliters of our grain alcohol. Ooh, that's tasty. Ooh, very chocolatey. obviously. Sweet. And I think we actually might actually have the right amount of alcohol in it. For my taste, at least. And of course, again, I'm using a 40%, what I guess this is around 80 proof. White alcohol, white grain alcohol, vodka for this batch. And I mean, you don't want it too overpowering with alcohol, as it is a liqueur. You know, somewhere in that 15 range percent. I find for liqueurs, 15 to 20 range. Great, 17, bang on. That's pretty tasty. The consistency here, I'm sorry, I keep drinking it off camera. So I mean, it is a chocolate liqueur. So you are going to have a thick, you know, creamy liqueur here, but it's not like so thick that you're drinking just melted chocolate. Yep, I think I might add in just another not quite 100 milliliters more vodka. Maybe just another 50 milliliters of vodka, my white grain alcohol, and mix that in, and then I'm going to pour it into these sterilized, clean and sterilized glass jugs here. So I'll be back in a second after I've mixed that up and poured it in. Well, I've finished transferring our chocolate liqueur mixed from the pot over to our bottles here. These are corked bottles. I cleaned and sterilized these bottles prior to putting these in here. You're going to need a, I used a large measuring cup, 750 mils, a ladle or a small measuring cup in the pot, and of course a funnel to get this all in here. I'm going to quickly talk about shelf life. These should be kept in the fridge because they are a cream liqueur, and they can probably stay in your fridge up to approximately 6 months, if they even last that long, because I'm going to say something. We did a good job here, guys. This is super tasty. And as you can see, I have a little extra here. I think today is going to be a White Russian day. Yeah. So, from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, it's your friend Joe, and I have a bunch of cleaning to do here. Happy holidays if I don't see from you or hear from you before then.